Does anybody else notice that a recurring theme in my videos is water? If I were to tell you that the things that you can do now to help your teen get their first job would enhance your relationship with them into adulthood, would you believe me? Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. I am at my sister's lake house in Lake Tillery, North Carolina. She and my brother-in-law are out of town, and I have gotten to come and stay with my 93-year-old mother this week. Stay tuned and join me while I share with you my tips for helping your teen get their first job. I'm glad you're here. In the video I posted in October of 2021, sharing with you our big news about my transition into self-employment, we were on a trip to Baltimore. And during the course of that trip, I noticed a dad who was outside a restaurant my husband and I were getting ready to dine in, who was coaching his child on the process of applying for a job. Reflecting on what I observed caused me to wonder, what would I do to help my teen get their first job? You know, the job search process is arduous for anyone, but it's especially arduous for kids who are in the process of embarking on getting their first job. And we as parents want to do everything that we can to help them be successful in this process. I'm here to tell you that as a mom who has raised her kids and is enjoying grandchildren, that the process for helping your teen get their first job starts way before they are walking out the door to apply. It actually starts when they're 2 and 3 and 4 years old. This may not be the first thing that pops into your mind, but where you start in the process of helping your child get their first job is when they're very, very young. And what that looks like is taking the time to craft age-appropriate questions that would prompt them to respond with something more than just, no, I don't know, nothing, whatever. Creating an environment for your child where they feel comfortable, first and foremost, sharing what's on their mind, even if they know that it might be something that you are not necessarily excited to hear about. How in the world does that help me prepare my teen for applying for their first job? It opens the door and creates a comfortable atmosphere for you to guide them, as this is a time when they are starting that process of transitioning to independence, and at a time when, if that conversation and that natural flow is not already in place, they might not be receptive to the guidance that you're giving them about this big first step toward adulthood and independence. Creating that kind of an environment helps your child develop the confidence to communicate effectively with folks that are outside their circle of influence. And by them feeling safe to have those conversations with you starting at an early age, when it comes time for them to walk into new situations, they have the knowledge and the confidence to articulate what's on their mind in an age-appropriate, respectful way. Now back to the folks that we observed while we were at the restaurant. I have to say that I wasn't paying particularly close attention to what was happening. I could just overhear bits and pieces of the conversation between the dad and his son, and then could see what was happening in my peripheral vision. And what I noticed was the young man was not dressed appropriately for the location he was entering to apply for the job. When you walk in the door, the host was dressed in a coat and tie. The wait staff were all dressed in those white, crisp server uniforms that you see at upscale restaurants, and all of the management were dressed in coat and tie. The young man looked fine in general. He was wearing sweats. He was wearing tennis shoes. He was wearing a hoodie. He had a ball cap on, and that's how he walked into this very upscale restaurant, truly not giving the best first impression. It's also important for us to guide our child in the process of researching the organization that they are applying to and help them decide what they need to wear to make the best first impression. If it's a casual work environment, that may be something that would require a little different dress than if they were, say, applying to the upscale restaurant I mentioned earlier. However, you still want to work with them to help them decide what the best outfit is for them to submit an application. If they're going to be a lifeguard, they certainly don't want to come in and wear a bathing suit because that's what they'll wear on the job. But they also don't need to come in and wear a three-piece suit, which might be dating myself a little bit. But you get my point. You can adjust how you dress for an interview based on the position that you're applying for. Additionally, what was unfortunate for this young man is that he was entering the restaurant and asking to submit an application at a time that wasn't listed on the sign on the front of the restaurant. It's important that we help our teen research what is expected from their prospective employer in terms of applications. Do they apply in person? Do they apply online? Do they just submit an application, or are they looking for a resume as well? And do they expect a cover letter? It's important that all of those blocks are checked so that your teen has the best chance possible to make a positive first impression where they would like to work. I really do commend this dad for being present in the lives of his children, and I also commend him for teaching them to be flexible and having their eyes open for opportunities. But at the same time, it's important for us to equip them to be successful when those opportunities present themselves and ensure that they are as wise as they can be when they seek to pursue them. The other conversation that you need to have with your teen as they look for their first job is broader than just getting that first job. You may be encouraging them to get any kind of job that may pay the bills that they need to pay and the responsibilities they have financially at this given time in their life. However, it could be an opportunity for you to help them explore what they want to do in the future and guide them toward employment that may give them a taste of that, as well as give them some valuable pre-training experience. Their first job may also be the thing that helps them understand what it is they don't want to do when they grow up. And if they know from their first job there's a particular thing they don't want to do, that again is an opportunity for you to have a conversation with them about what it is they need to do to equip them to pursue their career of choice. And that could be what kind of schooling do they need to pursue, or it could be that they make plans to transition into the workforce immediately after graduating from high school. So an application has been submitted. We now have the opportunity to coach them through the process of what to do next. How do they follow up with that application that they submitted online? How do they follow up with that application that they submitted in person? What is the best way for them to follow up with that potential employer to entice them to schedule some time to meet with them? They're invited for an interview. Follow up again is a very appropriate thing. It's always an appropriate step for them to write a thank you note to whomever they met with, thanking them for their time and the opportunity to talk with them about why they are the best candidate for the position that they are seeking to fill, and definitely reminding them that they look forward to hearing from them very soon about their opportunity with that organization. So after they get that first job, this is where the process continues and leads to what I promised at the beginning of this video, and that is a rich relationship with your child as they finish this season of their life and they move into the next season of life, which is adulthood. Once they start on that new job, check in with them to see how they're doing. Ask them how they're liking that job. Help them evaluate if it's meeting a need now. Help them evaluate how long do they feel like they could sustain this job, and then help them evaluate what do I need to do to either continue to enjoy this job into adulthood, or what do I need to do to make sure I don't have to enjoy this job into adulthood because I want to do something else, and I give myself options. When you create an environment with them that allows them to know it's truly safe for them to say whatever it is they feel, you will be developing the skills that it will take to have that rich relationship with them when they move into adulthood. Thank you for joining me for this week's Lakeside Retreat video about how to help your teen get their first job. I hope I have been able to make the impression that it doesn't start when they're walking out the door to submit that application, but it starts when they're very, very young. And as we have that time to talk with our children about the little things, we can look forward to having laid a foundation of having a rich relationship with them as they go into adulthood. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and ring that bell icon so that you're notified when I upload a new video. And if you got value out of this video, would you please just hit that thumbs up button? And what thoughts do you have about how we can best help our teens get ready for that first job? Look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.